Hi, this is John Reed of johnerp.com with my third video on getting the most out of LinkedIn as an SAP professional. I seem to keep getting cut off right when I'm getting to stuff that I want to get to, but this might be the last of the series for now. So basically, I was talking about how to make the most of LinkedIn, and I think you reach a point with LinkedIn usage where if you really want to get involved, the next step is to consider making your own group. There's all kinds of SAP related groups, but there's room for plenty more. And if you have a specific area of SAP, for example, if you're interested in rich internet applications in SAP, it might be neat to create a group. And one of the really good things about creating a group is once you do, you start to get people who want to join the group. And it's a really neat way of getting a sense of who on LinkedIn is really interested with your specific SAP passions or skills. So creating a group is not that hard to do, and it's not real high maintenance to manage a group. I have about 125 people in my SAP consulting skills group, and it's growing well. And it's a neat way to connect to people who I know have a real interest in SAP consulting skills as opposed to just SAP in general. So I've even thought about setting up more groups. I'm also a part of this Future of SAP group. So, you can basically create groups and you can have co-moderators, and there's more and more group functionality and discussions coming on. And one of the things I really like about groups is that you can make announcements to your groups now and you can begin to promote what you do in the SAP world to your group in an opt-in type of way because you know those people are interested in what you're doing. That's why they signed up. So that is a neat advanced feature of LinkedIn that you can only get by having a group. Now you can certainly email your own LinkedIn contact base, and LinkedIn has regulations about how many people you can email at one time and stuff like that. Or you can pay to email more people, and I'm not an expert in some of those things, but as opposed to paying to market to people, why not create a group and draw them into your world a little bit, and then you know they're interested in hearing from you. One of the oldest features on LinkedIn that was interactive is the answers section, and that was what I was going to show you in the last video, and I couldn't find it on my profile because they had moved it. But on this answers tab on the top here, there's different things you can search, answers, you can ask a question and answer questions. It's a neat way of getting more involved in LinkedIn is to look through some questions and answers. I actually posed a question about BPX skills, and I got some really interesting answers, and I ended up turning it into a blog post. You can answer a number of questions each month. So there's the question. I got some cool answers to that question from some helpful SAP individuals. And so Q&A is one of the oldest features on LinkedIn that was really interactive, and it's free to use. So that's one way of getting involved. But I also think just getting involved in group level activity is good. And through groups, you can also find individuals and you can do searches on individuals. And I haven't showed you a lot about searching for individuals on LinkedIn, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. If you go into the people setting here, you can find different searches. And you'll notice that you can search by industry, and down here you can also search by groups based on the groups that you're in. And so that's a neat way of narrowing your search to specific groups once you've joined. So as you join groups and get permission to be in those groups by the group moderators, it's going to increase the power of your searches as well. And you can connect to people from within those groups without an introduction from a third party. And I find that people respond well to those kinds of approaches if you're thoughtful about what you're trying to do and how you're trying to connect. So you might basically say, hey, I have a real interest in this, and I've noticed you do too, and I'd like to be in touch with you about future opportunities or future discussions, or I want to ask you a question. People are very responsive to that. But you do have to be aware that you can be reported by LinkedIn as abusing the system of connecting with people that you don't know very well. LinkedIn is envisioned as a place where you connect to people that you know. So if you connect to people with shared interest, you need to do it in a thoughtful way. And that's one reason why I don't believe in compiling thousands of contacts in LinkedIn. I believe LinkedIn is much better to think of as a way of forming relationships with people that share your interests. So better form good relationships with 30 or 40 people than more casual contacts with 200. So that's really what I recommend on LinkedIn. And if you do that, people will respond well to you and you'll gradually increase your contact base. And like I said, you can set your involvement on LinkedIn according to your amount of time you can put in based on your other commitments. I hope you've enjoyed this video series, and perhaps I'll return to it later when I have more to say.